Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is Tuesday, December 23rd. If everybody stands, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Costa?
Present.
Trustee DeVivo? Present. Trustee Kajanis?
Present.
Trustee Sabo?
Aye. Here.
Trustee Suisse?
Present.
Trustee Yukich?
Present.
Mayor Daley?
Present. Okay, this would be D. Are there any amendments to the agenda? All right. So the E, is there a motion to approve the minutes of September 10th, 2014 Village Board meeting?
I so move.
First by Trustee Suisse,
Second.
second by Trustee Costa. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. So BF, is there a motion to approve the accounts payable for the period of November 27th through December 24th, 2014?
So moved.
First by Trustee DeVivo,
I second.
second by Trustee Suisse. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee DeVivo?
Aye.
Trustee Kajanis?
Aye.
Trustee Sabo?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Yukich?
Aye.
Okay, the next portion of this meeting would be G, appointments. Is there a motion to appoint Joseph Trustees to the Environment Committee?
I so move.
First by Trustee Sabo,
Second.
second by Trustee Costa. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee DeVivo?
Aye.
Trustee Kajanis?
Aye.
Trustee Sabo?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Yukich?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next portion of this meeting would be reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. Let's start down with Trustee Costa.
Just briefly, Mr. Mayor, just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year again. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Costa. Trustee Yukich.
Same thing. Everyone, Merry Christmas. Have a very prosperous New Year. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Trustee Sabo.
Okay, a report for the Environment Committee, and the Environment Committee wishes everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, 2015. The Environment Committee is hearing very favorable responses regarding Earth Day Arbor Day in 2015. Cold-blooded creatures will be returning, according to Jim Neshy. We have had an offer about a presentation by the well-known company called Pizzo and Associates, SPIZZO. They would like to make a presentation on native plants and landscaping during the event. We have received positive feedback about returning participants. The Environment Committee is looking for much-needed sponsors to augment the celebration, volunteers, and new ideas and activities to present to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Sabo. Trustee Kajanis.
Mr. Mayor, just wishing everyone a blessed holiday season, Happy New Year. May the new year bring everything that we wish for and we work for. Merry Christmas.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Kajanis. Trustee Suisse.
Thank you, Mayor. And no report this evening, but I also would like to wish all of our residents a safe and happy holiday season. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Trustee Suisse. Trustee DeVivo.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a very, very short version of what we've worked on this year in the Parks and Recreation Committee group. The Erin Hills Park, I'm very proud of that. That opened this year after many years of planning. The board, staff, and the Park and Recreation Committee should give themselves a pat on the back. It was a very long process to get this finished, and we're truly grateful to all the help we've received. We spent some time this year planning process for Goodings Grove Park, and we will be working on that well into 2015. Benches have been installed, and thanks again to staff for their hard work getting this accomplished. They look great. 2015 starts a new year, and it will be an exciting one. I want to thank the residents for all their continued support and wish them a very, very Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee DeVivo. My report, I want to congratulate staff member Aaron Varan. Erin's now with us tonight because she's in class. Erin has accepted a new position as planner for the city of Naperville. Erin has been an outstanding member of our Homer Glen staff, and I want to thank her for her years of dedicated service to the residents of this great community. Congratulations, Erin. Sorry you couldn't be here tonight. And once again, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year. I hear we have a change of weather coming in, so be aware of that. Is there a treasurer's report?
Yes, Mayor, there is a treasurer's report for November 30th. Before I start, I wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This is a expanded detail report. Cash and investments in the general fund, November 30 were $4,700,640.59. The special event fund had cash and investments of $84,856.47. The environmental fund had a balance of $39,901.83. The motor fuel tax fund had cash and investments of $2,453,974.03. The land acquisition fund had cash and investments of $1,022,163.22. The park and recreation fund had a balance of $2,304,145.95. The debt service fund had a cash and investment balance of $1,551,139.40. The capital project fund had a balance of $3,890,748.11. The EAB tree replacement fund had a cash and investment balance of $493,265.71. The CIP, or Capital Improvement Project Bond Fund, had a cash investment balance of $15,288,106.72. And the final fund, the Tollway Fund, which is was just recently paid out, has a cash investment balance of $1,050,000 even, for total cash and investments, all funds, $32,878,942.03. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, John. Is there a clerk's report?
No report, Mr. Mayor, but I also would like to wish village board, village staff, and our residents a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Is there a village attorney's report?
No report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, is there a public safety official's report? Okay. How about a village manager report?
Mayor, I do have a couple quick items. Merry Christmas to everyone here tonight, out in the audience. Hope you have a blessed holiday. The first item on your agenda tonight, just if I could for a moment, is your final payment to the Tollway Fund. It's for just over $1 million, and it's quite an accomplishment for the village. Years ago, when a previous board made a decision to do that on-ramp at 143rd, that was for the betterment of the community. And looking back at the documentation at that time, I don't know that everybody knew where the money ultimately would come from. And you were able to budget very conservatively and make that happen. And it's really quite an accomplishment. There's many communities that cannot save up money to do on and off ramps that cost quite a bit of money. So kudos to everyone who's been involved with that over the years. In my weekly report, there is an update on the Cano Farm sprinkler system, and so I encourage you to look at that this week just to get a quick update on that. And I think Joe Baber had contacted you about an animal incident in the community. There's another update in the report on that. So the final thing, if we could, I know that Commissioner DeVivo is here tonight, and I think he wanted to just maybe give us a quick update on your conversation today regarding the salting in Stonebridge Woods, if you could. That's come up a couple board meetings. I know the board will be interested in that. So, thanks, Mike.
I can always have something.
All right ahead.
Believe me, we know.
You can start out with the prediction for tomorrow. How much snow?
Yeah, well, that's depends on who you talk to. We could either get a lot or we could get none. It's unbelievable that we don't have any snow at all. I haven't called my crew out once, but on Christmas Eve we may all be out there a while. All right, I heard from both the the mayor and village staff that there were some issues regarding salting by the management at Stonebridge. Of course, this is a subdivision that we haven't accepted yet. And to add to that being out one day and talking to those residents, I had one of those residents approach me too, said there was no salting. But today I went over and I talked to Tom Hahn, who is the developer there, and I expressed this to him, that there were complaints about not salting. And as soon as he responded to me, I understood. You know, he said, really, last winter, Mike, I mean, are you going to judge me by that? And then when I look back at how we approached last winter and how we handled the roads, I guess we very much, as the highway department, could have been criticized and were for not salting the roads. There's a lot of reasons not to salt the roads. Not all of them are because you just don't want to spend the money. You're trying to be conservative. One of the reasons you don't want to salt the roads is because it's too cold and the salt isn't going to do any good. You get down below 10 degrees, salt doesn't work. You start adding calcium chloride, well, that'll burn it off. But the number of times we would have had to use calcium chloride last year, although sodium chloride, which is salt, and calcium chloride pretty much has the same effect on the roads and the metals and the curves and that. Calcium chloride is much more concentrated, and if we had used it as many times as we want, we'd have been replacing curves all over the community. So you have to be conservative with that. There were many times that we left the roads unsalted because the salt just wouldn't have worked, waiting perhaps to the next day or so when we knew we were going to get some help from the sun, where if we went out there and put some salt on the road and the sun was there, it would be more effective. There's another reason you won't salt the road is because it's windy. You know, you get a windy situation when you salt the roads, especially with the temperatures we had. The temperatures of many temperatures, overnight temperatures were in the single digits. Even just a wind, being a wet road, the wind would blow the snow across, it would stick to that wet road, it would get to the point that the salt would no longer be effective. Then it would ice up and you'd be creating a situation that would actually be worse than perhaps a hard pack. And then another reason you wouldn't want to salt the roads is because, well, it's going to snow again in 2 hours. It may snow again. You're putting it away at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know at night it's going to snow again, perhaps sometime in the middle of the night. You don't want to salt down the whole community, spend $10,000, put another 100 ton of salt into the creeks and rivers for a short window of a few hours. So there's a lot of reasons he didn't salt, and that was it. In speaking with him, I felt very comfortable that he was going to continue to maintain the roads this year, as he always has. And in knowing Tom the way I do, there's nothing that would lead me to believe anything different than that. Anybody have any questions about that? Or about anything at all this year, as far as the roads?
No, Mike, besides the fact that we've had quite a few complaints over the years with the salting of the roads and the maintenance of the roads and the final lift of the road that was supposed to be done last year. In your conversation with them, I've heard a lot about why not to salt. Was there ever a contract shown to you that if it presents the fact that it has to be salted, there's only one of two things? You've done construction long enough. Either you have a salt pile on hand at your place, or you have a contract with somebody. Did he show you?
No, he didn't show you. We didn't discuss how he does it. He says he's been, for the past few years, he's been maintaining the roads as he saw necessary. There are his. They're, you know, I know they're a platted road, but as of right now, you know, they're his roads. They're still considered private property. I'm comfortable he'll do well. You know, he blamed a lot of it last year, and, you know, we have our share of complaints as a road district with last year. I had a lot of iced over roads, snowpack roads, for quite a few days when we got into February last year, just because of all the reasons I just said. And, you know, and we'll keep an eye on this, we'll maintain it. You know, Tom is somebody we've worked with when there's been other issues in the community. He's always seemed to have been cooperative in the past. Again, I don't see any reason to believe anything other than that.
Okay. All right, I'll take them for that. Let's
Any
just keep
questions?
an eye. Let's just keep an eye on it.
Okay, we'll
All
do.
right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, the next. Does the village manager
That's
have
it.
anything
Thank
else?
you, Mayor.
Okay, how about public comment? Mary Ann Bozen. Mary Ann, if you could give us your name and address for
Mary
the
Ann
record.
Boson, 13810 Rockcliffe Way. I don't know, last time I was here, you were discussing the signs that were going to be, that you were trying to eliminate in the village. Has anything come up about that on those signs?
We're actually working on it right now.
Oh.
We didn't bring it forward in this meeting, but.
Oh, okay, well, I
yeah,
would like to speak a little on it, if
Correct. It's your
it's all
time, go right
possible. And I'm all for the signs being up. You have garage sales that are maybe 1 week, and then you have estate sales signs, maybe a week or two, and then house signs up about for being on sale, and then you have the political signs, and those are for 1 month maybe, and then they're gone, and so are all the others. But I'm all for the political signs because it tells me who's on the ticket, and it gives me an opportunity to check it out instead of going into the polls and finding out I probably voted for the wrong person because I didn't know who in the heck they were, and the name just plopped up in front of on this little tiny thing. And I believe that eliminating these signs, you're punishing actually everyone who lives in this village. Taking away that privilege of knowing who you are going to vote for and who is going to vote and all this other. It sort of reminds me of Jonathan Gruber remark in the Obamacare, American people are stupid. Let them find out what it is when it's passed. And I just don't think I'd like to see that happen in our little village. Say these people come in, say 5 or 10 years down, and we don't know who in the heck they are and what they're going to do to our village and our area. So I'm all for political signs and any other kind of signs that goes up to let us know that, hey, there's a garage sale. Maybe that woman that can't afford clothes for that kid that only wears it 6 months when they're a little baby, that she can buy something for it. But my second thing is, that's all I'll say on that, but my second thing is on Woodbine. And I've been reading these articles about it, and it says 50 offices. Well, personally, I don't want to see 50 people's salary coming out of my pocket or coming out of the village's pocket to keep up and make a paycheck to all of them. I think we really need to start getting rid of the ego trip. Everybody wants this here, everyone wants that, but it's excellent property, and it's much better than the Dunn property. You have a building there, you can work with it, and instead of paying rent for all this here, you'll have it all together, and let's get working on it and stop griping about it. We got the money, you have the ability, you have everything, and you should do it instead of sitting around waiting for next year when it's going to cost a lot more, or the year after, because I want this and I'm not getting this, so I'm going to hold up my hand and say, no, you can't do that. So that's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And as far as 51 offices go, that's not the case. And Mr. Mark is here, and he can tell you exactly later in this meeting how many offices are proposed. But it's nowhere near 51. So.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Okay.
I hate it like seeing it all coming out of my pocket.
Okay. All right, then that concludes the public comment. The next portion of this meeting is legislation and action items. Is there a motion to approve the final payment due to the Illinois Tollway in accordance with the intergovernmental agreement dated June 13, 2006?
I-
It is understood that this is the final balance due for the 143rd Street exit ramp onto I-355.
So
So
moved.
probably moved.
First by
I'll second.
trustee Kay Janis, second by trustee DeVivo. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Kay Janis.
Aye.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Yukich.
Aye.
Trustee Costa.
Aye.
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Motion carries. This would be J2. Is there a motion to approve the hiring of Yelena Bowes as a part-time administrative assistant beginning January 1st, 2015, for an hourly rate of $24 an hour? Ms. Bowes will work approximately 800 hours per year. It is understood that the part-time position has no benefits.
I so moved.
First by trustee Sabo.
Second.
Second by trustee Costa. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Yukich.
Aye.
Trustee Costa.
Aye.
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Trustee Kay Janis.
Aye.
Motion carries. This would be J3. Is there a motion to approve the Williams Architect Professional Architectural Services invoice for October 2014 in the amount of $4,918.17?
So moved.
First by trustee Yukich,
Second.
second by trustee Kay Janis. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Yukich.
Aye.
Trustee Costa.
Aye.
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Trustee Kay Janis.
Aye.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Motion carries. This would be J4. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 14-080, an ordinance accepting certain public improvements, curb and gutter, and roadway pavement in the Cypress Point subdivision? And B, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 14-081, an ordinance accepting certain public improvements, curb and gutter, and roadway pavement in the Aaron Hills Unit 4D subdivision? And C, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 14-082, an ordinance accepting certain public improvements, curb and gutter, and roadway improvements in the Glenview Walk subdivision, Glenview Walk Estates subdivision? And D, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 14-083, an ordinance accepting certain public improvements, the curb and gutter and roadway pavement in the Windsor Court subdivision?
So moved.
First by trustee DeVivo,
Second.
second by trustee Costa. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yukich.
Aye.
Trustee Costa.
Aye. You know, excuse me, Mayor, can I just ask a question?
Sure.
This is the legal counsel. Can we approve all four of these in one
Yes.
motion? Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you. Aye.
Okay,
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Trustee Kay Janis.
Aye.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
motion carries. Very happy to get the final lift on these streets and get them dedicated over to the village so they can be maintained for safety reasons. This would be J5. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 14-084, an ordinance authorizing the placement of 2 traffic control devices, stop signs, on 139th Street, both eastbound and westbound, at the intersection of Prairie Hill Drive?
So moved.
First by trustee Yukich,
Second.
second by trustee Costa. Is there any discussion?
Yes, just so everyone knows why we did what we did on this one. 139th has been being used a lot because of the work being done on 143rd Street. And the problem that they had at the point where they're gonna be putting the stop signs is it's also a bus stop. We wanted to make sure the kids were gonna be safe.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Costa.
Aye.
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Trustee K. Janice.
Aye.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Yukic.
Aye.
Motion carries. This would be J6. Is there a motion to approve the conceptual design for the Village Hall remodeling and authorize Williams Architects to begin the schematic design phase of the remodeling project?
So moved.
First by Trustee K. Janice,
Second.
second by Trustee DeVivo. Is there any discussion? Madam
I-
Clerk, please
Can I
call.
just ask a question? When,
Yes,
when he's saying conceptual design, it's not a specific, we didn't get
We're-
to, yeah, okay.
Right, and Mark Bushhouse, President of Williams Architect, is here tonight. If you have any specific questions for Mark, he can answer them. That, I would direct that question to Mark. Mark, why don't you step up to the podium?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, as we have discussed, as we've been working through the latter part of the conceptual design, the current layout that's being shown as an option is not considered by any means a final layout. We now have schematic design ahead of us where we will fully consider where the rooms go.
Okay, perfect. Does that answer your question, Trustee Suisse?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Trustee Costa?
Okay, before the meeting also, I asked Mark if, when he does a conceptual design, if along with the square footage of the room, if he could just put an approximate size foot, 10 by 20, 15 by 10, whatever, just so we have a better understanding of the actual dimensions of the room rather than just square footage. I think that'll help.
I'm
us
sure
better.
you can do
Happy
that.
to do that.
Okay, great. Okay, we have a first and a second. Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Trustee K. Janice.
Aye.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Yukic.
Aye.
Trustee Costa.
Aye.
Motion carries. That concludes legislation and action items. Is there any other old business?
Yes, Mayor, I
Go
would,
ahead, Trustee Suisse.
thank you. At the last board meeting, placing signs in the right-of-way was discussed. I'd like to have that issue brought forward at the next board meeting on January 14th. Is there a consensus from the board to have that on the agenda?
It's already on the schedule for
Oh,
that.
it's, oh,
Yeah, it was gonna be a little bit more lengthy of a discussion, so
It's on the schedule.
we opted to, move it to the next one.
okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any other old business?
I have one thing, Mayor.
Go ahead.
With the Ludwig family out of Woodbine now and us taking it over, I think we need to be careful with the property. We got to make sure with being such a large piece that it's kept secure and that there's no problems to the residents that live around the golf course. So I don't know how we plan on doing that right now, so I kind of leave that up to you. But like I said, I just want to make sure that the property doesn't get damaged. The neighbors that surround it are in good hands.
Okay, the police department currently watches the library, the township building when nobody's there. The highway department usually has somebody there sleeping all night long doing snow or something along those orders. So at this point, I'm satisfied that things will go okay. I will have a word with Mark Fish to make sure that he understands that there's multiple entryways and that this has to remain secure. Is there any other old business?
Well, I just wanted to add to that subject.
Go ahead.
I had said several times, starting with the public meeting that we had at the junior high, that we should have rules and regulations and that we should protect the residents that live there. They need some buffering. And security was an issue that a lot of people brought up. It's a large piece of property. At this time, I don't think that people should be using it because we don't have those rules and regulations. I know there'll be some signs there. It has to do with no swimming in the detention ponds and things like that. But there has to be more monitoring of this, and there has to be rules, and it has to be consistent for everybody. And we have to have an evaluation of this property. That's another thing that I have said before there is any use of it. We know the trees are going to come down. That's going to be a major change. But I just can't see, I mean, it's a property that snowmobilers would like to do, or ball playing, or maybe somebody wants to ice skate on the detention pond or things like that. We're not ready for that. And we don't know, it's not like Stonebridge or Erin Hills or property that everyone can see all of it. You can't see all of this property. And the neighbors that live there need protection. So I hate to see complaints right away and then something happens. There isn't going to be somebody there all the time. The public should know that they are not to use it yet. And we would love the public to use it, but we're not ready.
For your information, in case you're not aware of it, signs have been placed by the ponds: no ice skating, no swimming, no fishing. We made sure of that, the second we took possession. At this point, there will be no access to the property until the trees come down. We talked at some length about how, unsafe it is to have 100, I believe the count was something around 106 dead trees out there. So it's the village manager is going to, put together a bid sheet to go out to find out who's capable of taking care of the tree situation. And then as far as rules and regulations go, we do have rules and regulations for parks. The park committee, we've passed rules and regulations. Not saying for a specific piece of property you wouldn't have more specified rules and regulations based upon the size of it and what have you. That's for another day, but we do have rules and regulations through the park committee. So, with that being said, is there any other old business?
Yes, I'd just like to comment about your comments, and that's true. We do have rules and regulations, but this property is different. This property is large. This property is going to have several uses. And there isn't a sign that says, don't use it yet. There isn't a sign that says no access. And that's what we need to have until we are ready for people to use it. And this is a safety issue, and it's a security issue.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment on that. First of all, you mentioned 106 trees. That's not the totalitarian issue of that whole property, but we have to go forward with planning and structure of this. There's probably, I don't know how many trees out there, thousands of trees. So 106 trees has been an ongoing issue out there for the last few years that we are taking care of as a village. You have directed correspondence and communications to the board regarding the safety issues of these trees that are falling or possibly falling down. So I want to thank you for that. As far as the village and the public safety, I want to commend you, Mayor, and the staff on getting these signs up for public safety on these ponds and ice issues as we go into the winter. So I want to thank you for that as well, for moving that forward.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other old business?
Well, are we going to have this on an agenda to talk about it, or are we gonna put up some signs for no access until we have this thing set? Or?
I drafted sign language already. It's just we haven't got the signs made yet. But the goal is, we're working on an RFP for removal of trees, and the goal is to get those done until the trees are removed. And there are 106 dead trees, but not all 106 of them need to come down immediately.
Okay.
And I'll give some information to the board about that. So I've already drafted language for signage, and we're going to be we're going to order 3 of them. And they're going to be pretty big signs, so I think that'll be good. I've talked to our good friends at the highway department who are keeping a good lookout because they've got a pretty good visual of the property. I've talked to our friends at the library. I went to the library and met with the assistant executive director, whose window looks out right over the property, and they're helping us also if they notice anything that looks out of the ordinary. They have my cell number, they have the sheriff's department's number. So we've reached out to our governmental partners and asked for their help too, and they've agreed to do that. So we're keeping a good lookout on the property, and the sheriff's department is going through the property multiple times a day.
I'd like to ask the manager a question.
Sure.
Okay, we know there's no skating, no swimming, no things like that, but is there any sign in your language that you are developing that says no access yet?
Yeah, there's not going to be access until the trees that need to come down, and we're actually even going to, there's really only a couple ways into the property for the general public, and actually Director Baber and I today talked about the snow fence that we're going to be installing to block those accesses.
Well, there's more reason than no access because of the trees, because we know that the trees could be in very poor condition. So there are other reasons not to use the property yet. And we should have a discussion on this in January, because there has been an ad in the paper, and there was also articles in the paper that said the public can use it. So that was a judgment by one person, not this board.
No. The statement has always been that the trees were a very unsafe situation, and until those trees come down, there isn't going to be access to that property. And at that point in time, the board will decide if it's safe enough for the public to go out there and enjoy it during the winter, to build a snowman, to walk around, to what do you want to call it, cross-country ski, take a walk. That's up to the board at that point. But it's very clear, and it's been clear, and there is no unclear, it's very clear that nobody's going to gain access to the property while those trees are up until we have it in a safe position. So with that being said,
I believe I've said that. I believe I agree with that, but that's not what I just mentioned. I mentioned about there was an ad that was taken out by one person, and there was also an interview that said that people could use it in January. We don't want the public to be confused. There has to be something that the public will know that they eventually will be able to use it. And one very good reason is because of the trees, and the other is because we don't have rules and regulations. And
I think the village manager just finished saying that he's putting signs up and snow fence so that you can't have access to it. And the access to the property will be decided at such time by the board.
Yes, that's true, and that's the way it should have been, except there was an ad in the paper that said they could use it in January, and also an article. So this has to be a contradiction. We don't want the public to be confused so that we don't have any problems.
But the signs are going up. The signs are going up, and is there any other new business?
Yeah,
or old
regarding
business?
that, I'm glad to hear that the board, since September, I think, Mr. Mayor, you brought up the safety issue of these trees to this board. I'm glad to hear at the end of the year, this board has finally recognized at this time that there is a safety issue on these trees that you had brought up. I believe, I don't have the dates in front of me. I didn't know that topic was going to be brought up, but I'm glad the board is recognizing the fact that you had brought this up in fall.
Okay, is there any other old business?
Just one thing, Mayor, then
Go
you
ahead.
agree, nobody is allowed on the property right now until we have the trees taken care of, and we make sure the rest of the course is fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, is there any new business? Okay, the next item is executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel?
So moved.
First by trustee Costa.
Second.
Second by trustee Yukich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. We're going to move to executive session. It will be back shortly. All right. Is there a motion to close executive session?
I so move.
First by trustee Sabo, second by trustee Costa. Is there a motion to approve the mayor and village clerk's appointment of Kathy Carrick to the deputy clerk office manager position at the salary of $25.50 an hour?
So moved.
First by trustee Kajana, second by trustee Yukich. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee DeVivo.
Aye.
Trustee Kajanis.
Aye.
Trustee Sabo.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Yukich.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
First by
Second.
trustee Yukich, second by trustee Sabo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Meeting adjourned. Everybody have a nice Christmas.
Merry Christmas.